No, I'm sharing it. I have to share it yet. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. First, let me explain you. I'm sure some might be aware of JSON and some are not aware of JSON. But let me explain you what is JSON. Okay, I'm taking Notepad++. I hope this comes. Yeah. No. So let's go with Notepad. Okay. So full form of JSON is JavaScript object notation. So here we have we will have two things. First one is object. The second one is array object. So any kind of JSON will be only with these two things. Okay, the first one is object, the second one is array object. And object will be some values represented in curly braces with key value pairs. Okay, so this is a key and this is a value. And this is key 2 and this is value. So the last key will not have a comma. So that's the end. And you can add, so this is a object, right? You can also have an array of objects. For example, key 3. So array will be represented in square braces. Okay. Now in this array, we can directly have values like this, or you can also have something like so this is one object, and after an object you need to have a comma. So this is again a separate object, and let me just add this one more time. So this is array key 2, this is array value 2. So what is the is this correct or not? If there is an issue, or if it's not correct, then why it's not correct? So can you tell me what is the issue here? Okay, so this website is called JSON Lint, and this website will help you validate a JSON structure. If there is an error, it will show that this particular item is wrong. So what is the issue here?
Quotes missed there.
Sorry Rakesh, I didn't get you.
Shankar, I think the quotes missed for one.
So that's not about the code, but it's
Com
about the comma.
comma missing after key 3 as well.
Yeah. Because this is a different value, right?
Yeah, okay.
This is a key. That's the reason it requires a different item. So let's validate. So what does this say?
The comma is missing after key 3.
Comma
3
is
value.
missing after 3. Let's validate. Still we have issues. So basically it's
Our
not
key three are they?
accepting
Bracket.
a value like this. Okay, so if it requires some values, then we need to pass it like this, val1 and a. Okay, and val2 and 2. Okay, so let's see if this is correct or not. So even if this is not correct, so let's see if we will remove this particular item completely, array, and let's try to find with the next one. Let's see if that's validating. Okay, see if we are able to have a array of objects. So this is an object, right? Curly braces and in between key and value pair. So this is an object, and this is second object. So if we have objects, then it's accepting, but if it is continuous value, if they are continuous values, it's not accepting. Okay, so that's not a proper JSON format if we have only array. Now what is the issue here? If you can see here, it is expecting string, number, null, true, false, but it got this particular item. So what is that? Can you please tell me what is the issue with this particular line?
Remove the comma
Yeah,
after
why should we
closing
remove the
braces.
comma?
Because it's the last object.
Exactly. So
The
that's the
object
last
is
option. So we need to remove the comma. Now if you see the way this is a valid JSON. Okay. Now let's go with one of the uh, sample API URL. I'm sending it over to you so that you too can open in your machines. Please go ahead and open that. So whenever you access this particular URL, it will give you a random user details. Can you please open that and check? Okay. Did you get the data in your browser?
Yes,
yes,
okay.
sorry.
Okay. Now, whatever data I have received, I just copied and pasted it over here. Okay. So new, send to URL, save. Okay, let's just open from URL. So this is what I need to open, and this is the result that I am getting. A result, if you see here, a result will have how many items? One
One
item.
item.
And info have properties. So when we say property, so this is a property, key and a value. So this is a property for this object, and this is a property for this object. This particular object, this is one of the property. So for this particular JSON, key 1 is a property, key 2 is a property, key 3 is also a property, key 4 also is a property. Okay, so that's how you need to remember things. And what can we get from these name and okay, so in name what details do we get? Three properties, in the sense, is it an array? What is it?
Objects.
Three properties, in the sense, three key value pairs. So that's a single object, but it has three properties. Okay, now if you see, there is a square bracket over here. Can you see that? So whenever there is a square bracket, it's an array. Okay, so in this array there is only one item at 0th index, and 0th index will have all the name details and all. And if you see picture, we have large picture, medium picture, and thumbnail. And info, we have seed, results, page, version, and all. Okay, now my requirement is I need to make an API call and add these values to Excel. Can I do that?
Yeah, because data looks like structured.
Mhm. Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you please repeat that?
No, I'm saying the data looks like structured data, right, version? So
Mhm.
maybe we can.
Okay. Now, within the team, how many of you know about arrays and sorry, and about JSON objects, and how many of you don't know about JSON? Can you please
I
make a
don't know.
hand raise? Okay. You, Sachin, you know about it or you don't know about it? If you know, keep the hand raise on.
I don't know about this.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. People who don't know. Others, please make a hand raise. Maya don't know. Rakesh Roy don't know. Okay. Surabhi Uma Devi don't know. Karthik SH don't know. Okay, so none of you know about JSON and okay. See, I do understand now because these details are a bit of advanced topics. That's the reason you are unable to understand this. But I would show you one of the interview question or interview test. So this is one of the interview tests that is asked in an interview. Like this is a document that's sent, and they asked us to update or complete the code and give us. Okay, so out of 10, 8 questions use JSON. Okay, that's the reason we are learning JSON objects as well as API calls. Okay, now I want someone to come up and do the coding, because if I do it, you will not be able to understand. Who can do that? Please come forward. I will guide you.
Yeah, I can.
Dhruvesh, can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, please share your screen and open UiPath. Create a new process, or blank process can be taken. Blank process, not background.
So,
Okay, let it be background process. That's fine. Leave it. So if there is a background process, then we just need to have every code without UI interactions. That's it, nothing else. Okay.
unless I can create the web process.
Yes. Now to use APIs, you need to add a package called web. Can you please go to manage packages and add web,
Which one?
WEB.
There are lots of different package Microsoft.
Check with UiPath. Official feed.
UiPath dot.
Yeah, you can use UiPath.web.
Arjun, in meanwhile, right? Can you tell us a real scenario where this is used?
So working with JSON is will be there in every project. Okay,
So
let's
most
assume
of
that
the
there is a console application, and in that console application, the data should be updated using an API call. Okay, or an SAP application where it will not have API keys, right? We cannot code it directly, and it will take lots of time. So we will definitely use API calls to make the responses, requests and responses.
okay.
Okay, check for yep. So there are two types of requests: HTTP request and SOAP request. So the difference between HTTP request and SOAP request is HTTP request is a standard and uh, there is a specific name for this. Uh, there will not be any session for this request. If you make a request, it will just post a message and it will leave. Okay, but SOAP request is a .NET standardized request framework. Both are used to make the calls for a different application. For example, in a regular scenario, we will book or there will be API transactions, UPI transactions that will be made. If you remember, everyone will do UPI transaction. You will scan a QR code, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you scan a QR code, our system or Google Pay or any web application will take that URL and it will make a HTTP request. It will state that, okay, I have the following request to be made, the following payment need to be made. So that's what it will start. And when we make a payment, it will send a request stating that the following transaction is completed. So all these are HTTP requests. Then how will our bank applications know from where the amount has been deducted, from where did we get the values? So there need to be some communication, right, between different servers and different applications. That
Yeah.
communication is done using HTTP requests. Just try to understand that this is any URL. Instead of a web page, you are getting a data. That's it. Can we continue now?
Yeah, sure.
Please speak a bit louder because I'm barely able to hear you all. So take HTTP request, Dhruvesh. Okay. Now you do the activities. Let's see were you able to get the result or not. Check with the options and do the activity.
In HTTP request,
First you need to get a URL data. You need to provide the URL.
which URL I need to provide it? I can provide a API.
Yeah, I believe that is the one. We have a timeout also.
So get API. Response JSON integration.
I think HTTP, simple HTTP, I believe. Authentication will be on HTTP.
It will ask the username and password.
I think none. I think we don't have. I think none.
Yeah. It's a GET request so that it will we don't need to add parameters.
Completely different.
నేను అన్ని తింటా
You don't sit down.
నీకేది నచ్చదంట
నచ్చదు మేమన్నాం.
Okay.
నాకు ఇంత ఖుషి మధ్యలో వచ్చింది నీకు నచ్చదు
Yeah. The response data. We got the response, right?
Yeah.
And status is 200.
చాలు
Means
ఒకటి పెట్టేసి
it's executed.
మ్యాగీలు తిన్నాం కదా ఆహా. ఎక్కువైపోతుంది
Whether it's correct?
పాపం వచ్చాడు పొద్దులేండి మీరు మీ పెసరట్టు శాండ్విచ్ చేసుకున్నాం కావాలంటే రేపు చేస్తాం టీ పౌడర్ అయిపోయింది రేపు తీసుకొస్తారు రేపు
Dhruvesh, tell what you're doing and then
Yes.
work.
So we got the response. Okay. So what we can do, we can print this response to log or with one message activity. Insert. We can create one JSON output.
Suresh, I think once you get a request, the data you need to segregate the data as a column wise. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever you got at that get the XML, no, JSON format data.
Deserialize.
Yeah, this there is a deserialize activity.
Where?
For the activities,
Yeah.
activities this like you can put JSON, so you'll get that one.
So we will get the response in the output variable, right? So you are saying we need to.
After that, we need to deserialize the JSON, I think.
Okay, so before going into deserialization, first we need to understand what is the output. So for HTTP request, we have a response as string, if you see. So you can directly write that result in the log message to see what is the value that you are getting. Just write it
But
as result.
Okay.
I think I checked that response in the JSON.
That's correct, but the result that you will get is in a string format. You need to convert that.
Okay, let's do that.
చెప్పు. నేను మాత్రం ఏమన్నా ఐస్ క్రీమ్ ముట్టుకున్నాను ఇందాక ఇచ్చావు కదా చేతిలో స్టార్టింగ్ చేయగడుకో.
Okay.
చేయి కడుక్కున్నా అయినా కూడా
We got this result.
So if you see, all the data that we received is in a string format.
Okay.
Okay. So now can you please copy and paste this result in double click on that. Control A, Control C.
Okay. And where I need to paste it?
Yeah, did you copy the complete message?
Yeah, I copied it.
Okay, go to JSON lint online. Paste the data over here. So if you see, we need to have only the message, not anything else. Remove everything except the message. No. No, the message value is what we require.
So I need to remove the message.
Yes,
No,
please.
from level.
So give me the access ones. So if you see here, this is also a JSON that's given by UiPath.
Yeah.
Okay, but the JSON that we have received is this one. But if you see, everything is updated as a string value.
Okay.
Okay, so to convert a string into JSON, you have two activities. First one is, if you see JSON, deserialize JSON and deserialize JSON array. Can you tell me the difference between JSON and JSON array?
In JSON array, the it will be the I think, in the value it has a array type key pair value.
Correct. So now the result is a JSON array or JSON. Is it a JSON?
It's a JSON.
JSON.
Okay. So with JSON, we will bring in this one and we will add JSON string. So result is a JSON string.
Yeah.
So what we will update it as str underscore result. Okay. Now for this one, let's also update properties. So here we will give input as str result.
Okay.
Okay. The second one is j object underscore result. So whatever object that we are getting it over here. That's it, nothing else. I think the variable is not created, so let's go ahead and create a variable. So if you see here, what is the object type? What is the variable type?
J object,
J
JSON
object.
object.
So for JSON array, it will be J array.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go back to this particular item, and what we can do is, so after deserializing, we are going to get something with this type. So we are going to get results of 0. So if you see, there is also index if you observe properly.
Yeah.
For an array, we will have indexes. So if you want to work with JSON, so you can go online with JSON browser or JSON beautifier. So let's paste it here. Format, viewer. So results is an array if you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and info is not an array. Okay, so let's go with info first, then we will take results. Okay, now
Okay.
how many results do we have?
For yeah,
One.
the results one.
Yes.
One.
Now can we add a JSON object into a log message?
Yeah.
Can we use J object into a result into log message? Is yes or no?
Yes, we can use J object.
Let's see what is the result that we are getting.
Or we need to convert it into JSON.
Okay. See the difference between the top answer and the bottom answer. So let's open this one. Okay. Now if you see, this is the second log message and this is the first log message. First log message
Yeah.
treated everything as a string, but second log message formatted that JSON into a JSON object and then it sent it as an output. So now did you understand the differences between directly
Yeah.
adding it as a string and the JSON?
Yeah.
Now we will do one more thing. So in here, let's go back and see how can we get the values. So what are we trying to fetch? We are trying to fetch the results, right? And where do we have results? We have results in info. So first this is the object, complete object. In that we have info, and in that info we have results. Okay. So to get to this result, what I can do is I can use dot notation or object notation. So if you see here, let's go with this one. So result of info is a key, right?
Yeah.
So I will add info, and after info, what do we have? We have result. Guys, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I had a power loss here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Results, results. Let's debug. मैडम मीटिंग है मैडम बैठ गए So can you see the result that came out?
Yeah. It's value.
It's 1.
We got only its value, results value.
Exactly. Now if we want to have seed, then what should we need to change here?
Uh, we need to replace results to seeds.
See.
Okay, let's debug it once again. Now what are we getting? Seed
Yeah,
value.
seeds. Yeah, seed
Now
value.
I would like you to introduce a different way how I will normally debug in a general scenario. See, I cannot always debug it by running the option, right? So what I'll do, I'll first debug this one. I will have a breakpoint here so that the program doesn't close. And see, there are three options: locals, watch, and immediate. Okay. In locals, if you see, there is an object for us. Object result, the first one and the last one. And if you just see the raw view, the count is 2. So what is the count here?
Result and info.
So we have two objects here if you observe. Inside JSON we have two objects. Array is also an object and info is also an object. So that's the count. Okay. So you can do a few functions, or you can also perform few functions by default. So that's what we have. Now here we have JSON object, and in this JSON object if you see there is a property array of object everything. But how can I get the value? If you go ahead and see in the immediate panel, this is where I will use this J object, and J object of what do we have? Key name. So let's go with key. So what is the key here? Results is a key.
Results.
Yes. So results, if you give results, then what do you get? All the values. But what if I do something like this, results dot toString? I'm trying to convert into toString and then I'm trying to get the value. Now, did you observe the difference? When you are sending it as dot object, it's giving everything as an object, but when you are converting that object into a string, then it's giving out everything as a string.
But it's a JSON format.
It's a JSON format, but if you observe it properly, key and the value both are in double quotes.
Okay, yeah, right.
Okay, so this is a string that it tried to send out. Now, results, inside results, we have all the values. Now let's go back and let's give out how can we get the 0th value or the first value. Since this is an array, this goes with, just a second, this goes with array notation or array way of accessing the data. 0 dot toString. So let's go with this and let's see what is the result that we are going to get. Cannot evaluate 0 at the current context. So there is no value at 0. Let's give out something like this. So there are different ways how uh, different programming languages accept. So UiPath accepts it with brackets. Okay. Now if I want to have, just a second. Now if I want to have
Result.
cell or not cell, wait, registered and age. So I want age value here. How can I get that?
0 of registered
Mhm.
and again in the round brackets in double quotes age.
So if you observe, we are able to reach till here, but to reach till
Yeah,
here, we need to give this key.
yeah.
And after reaching to this key, we need to go to age. Okay, so that's how I will
So
go.
we need to add a dot after the 0th.
There is no need to add a dot.
After
We can go with key value.
30.
Hello? Uncle, we lost the power, uncle. We didn't switch on anything. Sorry.
Each.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Sorry for that. Next time this won't happen. I'm so sorry. Even we don't know how we lost it. I don't know. We just were working and all of a sudden we lost it.
Okay, can you see the
Yeah,
result
it's
now?
yeah. First we got the result in the array as an array,
Mhm.
and in second expression we got the result in string in double quotes.
Exactly. Okay.
Am I right,
Now, in the
Vajra?
same way, I want Maya to update or help Dhruvesh. Maya, I need the value of um,
Okay.
thumbnail.
So Vajra, whatever that you doing that is in the watch, like you're just in the runtime, you're checking the variable, like
Correct.
changing your properties and doing it. Okay.
Correct. So in the runtime, I'm just checking out the value directly instead of
Yes.
rerunning it again. JSON is already there in the memory,
Okay.
but
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
just trying to access with the properties.
Okay.
Okay, so Maya, what I want you to do is I want to fetch the thumbnail and I want to download
Okay.
this thumbnail. So the thumbnail
Okay.
should be downloaded in a local file. So just help out Durvesh how to do that.
Object result of 0. Sorry, results, then 0,
No.
results,
A TV తీసే వైర్ టీవీ వైర్ తీసే
next 0. Can you open that one once?
I think picture. It's
తీసి
picture.
చూడట్లేదు ఎందుకు తీసే అన్ని కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాను
Okay.
రిమోట్ ఏది
రిమోట్ లేదు నాకు
టీవీ రిమోట్
కనిపించట్లేదు
వచ్చే టీవీ వచ్చే
I need to see.
ఆ రూమ్ లో రిమోట్ తోటి వచ్చే
Thumbnail, THU.
Okay, first result object in that zeroth index of the array.
Uncle,
We
thank you
need
so much.
picture, and in picture we need a thumbnail. Right?
Thumbnail. Okay.
Result in zero.
0, picture, thumbnail. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we got the result.
We have got it as an array.
కూర్చో నీకే
Yeah,
కూర్చుకుంటుందని చెప్పి
we can convert it to string.
String. Yes.
Now it's string. Yeah, Vijay.
now you got the value right
Yeah.
Yes.
all I need is I need to okay can you please copy this URL and open that in Chrome or Firefox anything did you get that thumbnail
Yeah.
Yes.
now I want this thumbnail to be downloaded in local machine so to do that what I can do is I can send a HTTP request again with this URL
Okay.
So
Sudha,
we need to
Sudha,
store
can you
the
please help
this result in
Durvesh
the
now? Sudha, please
machine,
help
or
Durvesh now. Okay, we don't have Sudha, so let's go with Shankar.
Yes, Sajaram. Yeah.
Yes, please help Durvesh. I need to have the file, thumbnail file downloaded.
Yeah. Dhruvesh, I think that whatever we got picture, no, that we can write into that our local system drive.
yeah, we need we got
So we can provide
URL.
Yeah.
So now we got a URL of the picture. Okay, so we need to download that picture using the URL. So
Yeah.
what
Then
we
open
can
browser. Then we have to go to the open browser, right? We need to go to open
No,
browser and
don't go
download.
with open browser.
no,
Open with HTTP
we,
request. Understand the options of
Okay.
HTTP. This HTTP request
Yeah.
will be able to help you to
So
download the
this,
picture as well.
yeah. Then take that HTTP request. So we get actually get right. There will be put. I think there will be a put actually push. Go to that request method.
okay. So
Like we have request method at get here, no, down. If you come page, like, no, if you there is a request method, right? So we got no that you like, just go through no third one, like after time out.
Request
Shankar, you can
method.
directly use the URL that you have received it earlier. Image URL.
Yes.
That will
Yeah.
be an endpoint.
but
Yeah.
I think we need to store this URL in some one variable, and then we can pass the variable in endpoint.
That's correct, Durvesh. You need to do the same.
Uh, HTTP request. We got the uh, this is, so we can use assign activity.
Yeah.
After the we can create a variable at URL. it's a string variable. So we will j offset of result and 0. In that 0 we have
Picture.
Picture thumbnail.
Picture.
okay, yeah, picture. And then
Thumbnail.
thumbnail dot to string.
We have last 10 minutes to complete this session, so make it faster.
Okay. Yeah. But I think I am not able to use URL variable.
No, that's fine. You can use it.
Okay. So it's a GET request, right?
Correct.
And accept response will be
Any.
not it's
Any.
authentication.
Yeah. Hit on OK.
Should I check the preview?
You cannot check the preview because that's not a JSON.
Okay.
Now see, no need to open every time that particular values. Everything will be there in properties.
Yeah.
All you need is you need to understand how to use these properties.
It's in the endpoint. It's to the string.
Correct. That you need to change it to URL.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you see here, there is something called attachments that you can
Yeah.
send, but there is also something called an option
How?
where you can download the result, headers, result, status code. Let's go with options. Okay, resource path which the file return should be saved.
Okay.
Okay,
So should I
just
give the path?
give it as because you don't
Get
have a
output.
folder here. Let's create a folder, or let's give some.
Let's create the
Okay,
folder. And
so this is what you can do.
so
Path dot get file name with extension. Okay, and you can give URL here. So when you give something like this, the file name with extension is this one.
yeah,
This is the file name with
the
extension 73.jpg.
73.jpg.
Okay, now can you run this once?
Okay. But we didn't give the path, so it will take the default
It will take the
project
project
path.
folder path.
Okay. Okay. So local file.
Check with URL. What is the URL?
Yeah, we got the correct URL.
Okay. Now
It's a 56.
use immediate panel. No, wait. Use immediate panel to check path dot get file name
Dot
and
get file
URL
name.
and brackets URL.
Okay. I need to convert it dot to string
No
or
need. Hit enter.
and okay, we got
Now if you see here, that is
only,
56.jpg.
but we get with extension.
Yeah, this is the extension, right? 56.jpg.
Yeah.
Okay. Step into. Okay. Now
Okay.
go to your folder and see if you have the file or not.
Yes, it's there. 56.
See, we got this. Any question? But I think it's the extension changed.
Right click, check with the properties.
It's a type of file.
Type is only file. So I think there is some issue with the file URL that we have given here. So what are we giving in HTTP value? Path dot. See here we gave get file name without extension.
Yeah, that's why I think without extension
We
You
we.
need
have to
to
give
remove without
JPG.
extension.
Okay.
You can use get full name.
Path
Get
called.
full path.
Full name. Full name. Path will give you the complete path.
No, there is no property full name.
You have it.
Only file name.
Get
Directory
file name.
name.
Yeah. In that you can add brackets URL. Okay.
Path as a string.
Yes, hit on OK. Run this.
It again.
Run it. Hit on continue, please. Okay. See, refresh it once.
Yeah, we got the JPG file.
Yeah. But this is a different picture.
Yeah, every user will have a different picture. Random ID will give a different value for every call you make.
Okay.
That URL is giving different response every time.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
how many of you, let's stop this session here, but the uh, homework you can take, what I want you to do is, whatever result that we have, I need to have a folder created for every user, for every request, and if you see there should be a user ID, I guess. Open the info,
Okay.
okay, or else you can add it with name, or okay, open the ID. Yep, name and value, you can combine both, and you can create a folder with this, and in that folder I need to have all the values, all the images. And the second option is make a HTTP call and write all these values in an Excel or CSV.
So you mean we need to create a folder called this
No.
DNI
See,
name?
that's a different. I'm giving you two options to do. You can create a
Okay.
folder and you can download all the files in that folder, but the
Okay.
folder name should be ID, name, and value combined.
Okay, combined. So we need to concatenate ID with the name value,
Name
DNI,
and the value.
name and the value. Okay.
Okay. The second one is make 10 requests, and for every request update all the values for gender, title, first name, last name, email ID, location. Everything should be updated in columns in an Excel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Got it? So how many of
Yeah.
you got this exercise? Because so I've said you right in the beginning, we will also work with JSON on the third week or the fourth week. So this is the third week ending, so that's the reason we are working with this, and you need to understand JSON to get through the interviews structure.
So Jurang here, for each JSON request, HTTP request, we get a one output, or I think just confused here, are multiple outputs.
So this
Like we get
particular URL is giving you only one output. There can be a different URL, the structure can be changed and everything, but you got the value how we are navigating to the tree, right?
Yeah.
Tree. So we are going with the parent, we are going with the child. That's how we will get to the last option.
Okay. So we need to make a 10-time request to get create different folders and
Yeah. You can
download the.
create whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want this to be completed, and this should be updated in your Git and commit the code and make a pull request, please, because I'm not seeing any pull request for the last 1 week. There are no active
Okay,
pull
sure.
requests. Okay, let's go ahead. Don't neglect, because we have only 1 week of time, and things are covered mostly. The next 1 week will be a project week, so just make sure you understand things. Okay,
Okay, cool.
I will be available for 5 minutes to take the questions, and I am stopping the screen recording as well. If you have any questions, please ask the questions now.
So how frequently JSON will be used, or